Joining me now for more on the Pentagon's annual report on China from Beijing, Su Xiaowei. She's Deputy Director of the Department of International and Strategic Studies at the China Institute of International Studies. And let's start right there, right off the bat. Pentagon asserting that China has conducted cyber attacks on the U.S. to steal information from federal agencies and perhaps companies as well. The U.S. military plans to expand its cyber command extensively. What is the reaction there in Beijing?
Well, actually, I believe that the U.S. actions are not constructive enough for the current developments of the bilateral relationship. We know that when the Secretary of State, John Kerry, paid a visit to Beijing, one of the important achievements made by his visit is that China and the U.S. Agreed to establish the working group on cybersecurity. It is widely believed that it is a starting point for both countries to start to address the problem of cybersecurity and stop criticizing each other. So on this basis, in this context, it is not a pleasant information for China that the U.S. began to criticize China again on the cybersecurity issue because China is ready to work with the U.S. to increase mutual communication and to address the problem. So I don't believe that it is a good news for both sides.
Well, let's move on to one of the other things that came up in the in their report. Of course, the expansion of the military. It's expanding rapidly there in China. The Pentagon saying that Beijing's spending has grown at least 10% annually over just the past decade. And a lot of people probably curious why the intense buildup.
Well, actually, I believe that the U.S. has always tried to criticize China on the military build-up, military transparency, all kinds of issues. One thing I need to emphasize is that currently the U.S. and China are trying to build a new type of relationship. This is an agreement made by the both sides. So on this basis, the both sides needs to be sincere with each other and try to avoid provocations. And as for the military build-up, I believe that the U.S. needs to understand China's strategy correctly. And China has been saying that we will maintain peaceful development and we will be a responsible and positive player in the regional affairs. That is the basic principles of China's policies. It is not the disguise for China's military capability build-up. So the U.S. needs to seriously take China's positions and try not to exaggerate the concerns of the other countries and try to avoid exaggerating the Chinese threat to other countries. So that is why China always feel uncomfortable and feel dissatisfied about the U.S. annual report on China's military and defense paper. And that is why China believes that the U.S. is exaggerating threats from China and try to serve its own interests, like providing arms to Taiwan and other purposes, including the rebalance.
Su Xiaowei joining us from Beijing with her analysis on this report. Thank you so much.